Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking into something truly unsettling. We're exploring those moments where ordinary life just shifts, where you realize there might be predators hiding right there in plain sight.
Exactly.
We've gone through some chilling source materials, focusing on two accounts that really make you question trust, question safety. These aren't just tales, they're real events.
And they show the profound unpredictability of people, the darkness that can be masked. We're looking at the impact, the mysteries left behind.
So let's start our first deep dive. We're going back to 1992. Meet Jeremy Rolves and Heather Offelman, both 22, seniors at Middle Tennessee State University, bright kids, in love, planning their future.
Full of potential.
Right. And Jeremy, he was tech savvy, working part-time at a music video company in Nashville, saving up. Then that September, his boss gives him a task. Sell a high-end computer. A Macintosh Quadra 950. We're talking serious hardware for the time.
Very expensive, cutting edge.
Valued at $30,000. So Jeremy puts an ad out. On October 7th, he gets a call. A guy introducing himself as Tom Johnson, says he's a freelance computer programmer, interested in the Mac. They meet. Jeremy describes him later as pretty friendly, late 20s, maybe early 30s, about 5'10", someone who seemed easygoing.
Put him at ease.
Yeah, exactly. Johnson sees the demo, agrees to the price, actually offers $31,000, but then comes the catch.
There's always something, isn't there?
He insists Jeremy has to deliver it, not just nearby, but to his office in Marietta, Georgia. That's like 230 miles away.
A long haul.
But Jeremy agrees. They set it up. Fast forward to October 24th. Jeremy has just pulled a monster 30-hour shift, exhausted. It's 1:30 a.m. when he starts the drive.
Oh, wow. That's rough.
Heather, his fiancée, she's worried he'll fall asleep at the wheel, so she insists on going with him. Keep him awake, keep him safe. They drive all night, finally reach Marietta around 7:30 in the morning. But as soon as they get there, Johnson calls. Another change. Says his office is hard to find. Can they just meet at a Knights Inn motel nearby instead?
Starting to sound a bit off.
Definitely suspicious, but they go along with it. So they meet Johnson at the motel. He's still friendly, thoughtful even. Says his business partner is bringing the check, the $31,000, but he's running late. Suggests Jeremy and Heather should grab some breakfast while they wait. Says the partner won't be there for another, 30 minutes? Okay, so they get back around 8 a.m. Johnson reassures them again his partner is arriving very shortly. But then he asks them to load the computer, this really expensive equipment, into the back of his car, a Dodge Dynasty.
Before the money has even shown up.
Exactly. Jeremy starts feeling a bit uneasy. He notices Johnson's car has Tennessee plates. They came all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. Bit of a coincidence.
Yeah, that's odd.
But he kind of brushes it off. Maybe this guy travels a lot for work. So the computer's loaded. They follow Johnson into his motel room to wait for this supposed check. And they wait. Johnson makes small talk about computers for another 20 minutes. Jeremy's had enough. He's exhausted. They drove all night. This guy keeps delaying. He tells Johnson firmly, look, call your partner. Let's get this done.
He pushed it.
He did. And just like that, Johnson's whole demeanor changes. The smile, gone. He calmly reaches into his jacket, pulls out a pistol, aims it right at them.
Chilling.
And he says, I think we can close this deal right now.
That complete switch. It's terrifying. It's the mask coming off. That affable persona was just a tool, purely instrumental to get what he wanted. And when challenged, the real predatory nature just snaps into place. It's a hallmark of certain calculated offenders.
It's the pure calculation. What happened next was just brutal. He forces Jeremy to give him his money belt, then tells Heather to lay 2 bed sheets out on the floor. His voice is calm, unnervingly so. Tells them to wrap themselves up tight in the sheets. He says something like, I'm taking the computer. Your company gets insurance. Don't worry, everything's going to be fine.
As if that offers any comfort, just pure control.
And then, a loud ringing sound. He hits Jeremy hard in the head with a hammer. Jeremy's stunned, but still conscious. He sees Johnson walk over to Heather and strike her.
Horrific.
Heather lets out this awful wail. Jeremy, even then, trying to protect her, yells, stop screaming and he'll leave. Johnson just turns back, hits Jeremy again with the hammer, then goes back to Heather and hits her several more times. Jeremy's badly injured, but somehow he stays conscious. He lies still, pretends to be dead, and he watches. Watches Johnson calmly clean the countertops, wiping away evidence. Then he just walks out.
Methodical. Cold.
The second Johnson's gone, Jeremy crawls over to Heather, promises her help's coming, but it's too late for her. A motel employee finds Jeremy around 9:30 a.m., disoriented, bloody, calls 911. Heather didn't make it.
And Jeremy?
Miraculously, he survived. made a full physical recovery, although he suffered from vertigo and some hearing loss afterwards. His description of Johnson was incredibly detailed, which led to police sketches. They found the hammer, too. Wrapped in plastic, STU number still on it.
You'd think that would be traceable.
You would, but back in '92, tracing something like a common hammer without modern digital inventory systems across state lines, it was almost impossible. A dead end, really. There was one other lead. A motel clerk remembered a woman complaining about noise from Johnson's room sometime between 7th and 8th.
Before the attack.
Right. Detectives thought maybe she was an accomplice, got cold feet, or tried to stop it, then ran. But they never found her.
Leaving the hammer is interesting, though. Maybe sloppy, maybe intentional misdirection, and this possible accomplice. It adds another layer of unanswered questions. What was her role? Was she coerced? We just don't know.
Then, 2 years later, 1994, a possible break. Police arrest a guy named Tom Steeples, 49 years old, runs a computer company in Nashville, same city.
Okay, that sounds promising.
And Steeples looks a lot like the sketch of Tom Johnson, plus the reason he was arrested. Shockingly similar crimes. April '94 lured a young couple, Rob and Kelly Phillips, to a motel, bludgeoned them for $900. Also suspected in the '93 murder of his own business partner, Ronald Bingham. Probably over debt.
The MO matches almost perfectly.
Almost. There's one big problem, the age. Steeples was 49. Jeremy was adamant Tom Johnson looked much younger, like late 20s, maybe 34 at the oldest.
That's a significant difference. Could Jeremy have been wrong, maybe due to trauma or just misjudging?
Or was it someone else? Steeples died in prison just a few months later, July '94. Overdosed on cocaine. His wife, Tilly, smuggled in. She got 6 years for that.
And some wondered if she might have been the woman at the motel.
Exactly. But Steeples was never formally charged or confirmed as Tom Johnson. The evidence seems strong, points that way, but that age gap, it leaves this nagging doubt. Could Steeples have just copied Johnson's methods? Maybe heard about the earlier crime?
A copycat.
It's possible. Jeremy asked to see a photo of Steeples to see if it was him, but the police denied it because Steeples wasn't an official suspect in their case at that point. So Jeremy never got that confirmation. The killer's identity was never truly pinned down. For Jeremy, it was devastating. He lost Heather, lived with the trauma, the fear. He did try to rebuild his life. Found purpose later joining the Peace Corps, worked in Laos, then Africa, using his tech skills.
Finding a way forward.
Yeah, but then, just cruel irony. 1997, he's in South Africa, he's only 27, killed instantly when a driver fell asleep and hit his vehicle head-on.
That's just incredibly tragic. To survive something so violent, so deliberate, only to be taken by a random accident. And the fact that the identity of the man who caused so much pain remains uncertain. It's deeply unsettling. That lack of closure is its own kind of torment. It really is. That uncertainty, it hangs heavy.
And it brings us to our next case, another story from the sources about danger appearing seemingly out of nowhere. Not a con man's mask this time, but maybe random, inexplicable rage. Let's shift to April 29th, 1991. This involves Dick Hansen, a former college football player, and his friend Gene. They had a kind of on-again, off-again thing. Dick was feeling optimistic that night, hoping things might finally work out with Gene after a tough divorce.
A hopeful evening.
Yeah. Around 10 p.m., they have dinner at Original Joe's in San Jose, California. Then they head to a bar about 5 miles away. They take Gene's car, leaving Dick's pickup parked near the restaurant. They leave the bar around 1:45 a.m., head back to Dick's truck. The street's empty now. As they're sitting in Gene's car, just chatting for a minute, headlights appear behind them. A car pulls up close, a 1970 Pontiac GTO Le Mans. No front plate.
Right.
The driver, described as a white guy, late 30s or early 40s, wearing these big, thick, black-framed glasses. He just sits there, staring at them.
Just staring, not trying to pass or anything.
No. Gene thought maybe they were blocking him, but Dick said there was plenty of room. But the guy just kept staring. Made them uncomfortable. So, feeling kind of creeped out, they decide to head back to Gene's place in Belmont. Dick knows the way, so he gets in his pickup to lead. Gene follows in her car, and as soon as they pull out, so does the Pontiac. Sticks right behind Gene. She later said, well, he pulled out, I pulled out, and the guy behind us pulled out. Just like that.
So he's actively following now?
Yes, and not just following. Gene said he mirrored every move they made, every lane change, every turn, for over 10 miles. Onto Highway 85 northbound. She tried everything to shake him, speeding up, hitting the brakes suddenly.
Trying to break the pattern.
Right, but his reactions were too fast. It was like he knew what she was going to do before she did it. Utterly terrifying.
Yes.
Relentless.
That kind of pursuit is psychological warfare. It's designed to instill terror, that feeling of being trapped, nowhere to run. It strips away your sense of safety completely, making the world feel hostile and unpredictable. It's intense control.
Jean was definitely feeling it. She gets really nervous, pulls up alongside Dick on the highway. Troy's yelling they need to go to a police station. But with the traffic noise, Dick couldn't hear her.
Oh, no.
Dick signals he's taking the next exit. Jean follows, hoping maybe she can ditch the guy at the last second on the off-ramp. They pull off onto West Fremont Avenue. Jean's watching her mirror, just praying the headlights keep going. But no, they appear again. The Pontiac pulls right up behind her car, stops, just sits there, watching.
The confrontation feels inevitable at this point.
Dick had had enough. He was more angry than scared by now, apparently. He gets out of his truck, walks back towards the Pontiac, clearly intending to confront the driver. Jean watches him approach the driver's side. She sees the look on Dick's face change almost instantly, from anger to absolute terror. He starts to step back.
He saw something.
And then, 2 loud bangs, gunshots. Dick falls. The driver shot him just like that. Didn't hesitate. Jean jumps out of her car, runs towards Dick. As she does, she makes eye contact with the killer for several seconds. Then he just speeds off, gone into the night.
Gone.
Dick was hit in the chest and neck. He died before the paramedics could even get there. And the killer? Never identified, never caught. Jean, understandably, in the shock and darkness, couldn't get the license plate number. The biggest hurdle for investigators was motive.
Why? What set this off?
Exactly. Dick didn't seem to have any enemies. His ex-wife had an alibi, his dad was a lawyer, but the stranger followed Jean's car mostly, not Dick's. So a connection to his father seemed unlikely. Police kicked around a few theories. One was road rage related to Jean's personalized license plate. 49er Uggs. Maybe the killer hated the 49ers or mistook Dick for a player. Seems thin, but possible.
Highly speculative.
Another idea. Maybe the killer was obsessed with Jean, had been stalking her, saw her with Dick and jealousy just exploded, killed his perceived rival. That might explain why he left Jean alive. She wasn't the target, Nick was.
A targeted removal in that theory.
The last main theory was just random escalation. Maybe Dick or Jean accidentally cut someone off earlier or did something minor that night that infuriated some unstable person who then decided to seek revenge.
Which is perhaps the most terrifying possibility. A completely random, disproportionate reaction to maybe nothing at all. It speaks to that terrifying randomness we sometimes see. No clear reason, no warning, just violence erupting. The lack of closure is profound. Yeah, when you look at both these cases, the Tom Johnson one and the Dick Hansen one, you see this awful theme emerge, right? Violence just erupting from nowhere, either hidden behind a friendly mask like with Johnson.
Right, that chilling ability to seem totally normal one second and deadly the next.
Exactly. It makes you wonder who you might be interacting with every day, that potential darkness hidden just beneath the surface. And then you have the Hansen case, the sheer randomness. An ordinary night out turns into a nightmare, seemingly for no reason, or at least no reason we can understand. It really hammers home the question, how safe can we ever really be from just the irrational anger or obsession of a stranger?
It's a deeply disturbing thought. These aren't just plot points in a story.
Right.
Real people, Jeremy, Heather, Dick, Jean, their lives were shattered or ended. And the questions just linger. The fear, that sense of injustice because the answers, the accountability, it never fully came. The idea that people capable of this just walk among us. So it leaves us with a heavy thought, doesn't it? In a world where some wear masks so well and others act on motives we can't even begin to fathom, how do we navigate that? How do we really know who or what might be lurking just out of view? Thank you for joining us for this difficult but important deep dive. If these stories gripped you and you want to explore more cases like this, please support our channel, Horror Docx. Hit that like button, share it with someone you think would be interested, and definitely subscribe so you don't miss our next investigation. Until then, stay aware and stay safe.